We are recording live at Apotheosis Comics and Lounge here on a Wednesday night in St. Louis on Grand, doing it differently in the studio in Apotheosis now, a brand new studio setup. We got the Giggler, Scotty Scoop, and Logan with a jam-packed episode. The normal format is back, and we're doing it different. Coming back again, back on the show for Mostly Superheroes is Martin Casas, owner-operator of Apotheosis. Let's do it. This is Mostly Superheroes. Hello and welcome, fans, to Mostly Superheroes. That's right. It's going to sound a little bit different for you today because we are in the middle of the action. We are in a comic book store, Apotheosis Comics and Lounge, and you're going to feel the vibe. We're feeling the vibe right now. Customers coming and going, books on the shelves, beers in our hands, a really excellent setup, and we're feeling the vibe. So we want you to feel the vibe. If we're hanging out at a comic book store, now you are. Whether you're in your car, listening on your phone, watching on Spotify or YouTube, welcome to the show. Giggler, Scotty, I know you guys. Everybody loves you guys, but I'm going to start with Martin. Get right up on that mic and say hello, Martin Casas.
Hey, this is Martin Casas.
Martin
in the radio scene there.
Walter Cronkite of comics.
Right. Yeah.
Real radio voice coming in. Martin, how have you been? We are here.
I'm good, man. God, when was the last time I saw you? Was, I think, Thanksgiving-ish or November of last year?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, had you in the studio with Sam the DM, Sam the Dungeon Master for some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
You guys came in the studio. You guys had put him on at City Winery for a live D&D brunch, and we were just talking about it. Sam's going back to the City Winery, so we're pumped about that. Can't wait. But a lot's happening here at Apotheosis, and we're going to go through the fan mail, the news and rumors, what you share in the meat. And with that, I really just want to get right into some fans because once we get into news, we're kind of off and running. So let's do it.
Fan mail.
All right, so we got a lot of stuff happening on fan mail. The Mostly Superheroes squad. We're giving away some stuff, some reminders. Don't forget, okay? We're giving away 2 tickets to One Night of Queen at the Factory.
Holy cow.
In Chesterfield because it's Gary Allen and The Works is performing. That's right. And we have 2 tickets. We want you to enter at mostlysuperheroes.com/contest. We're also giving away vinyls on this podcast. We give away records all the time. We partner with Planet Score Records in Maplewood. They help us out with a lot of our giveaways. Joe's over there is great. And we did pick a winner for Blue by Weezer.
Yes.
That's you, Scotty Scoop, one of your favorite albums.
For sure.
Congratulations. Isaac E. in Minnesota.
Isaac with the big win.
That's right.
Man, I love that album.
So
I
good.
just get a free album?
He gets a free album.
Oh,
we mail it to him. He's already sent me his address. He's confirmed. And I talked to Martin before the show. I said, listen, let's give away something else. We always move on to the next vinyl.
Yeah.
You mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy.
Volume 3.
Volume 3.
Amazing album.
And we know that Andy actually picked Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 to give away several weeks ago. So guess what? We haven't given away on the show. Volume 2.
Bam.
There it is.
Can't go wrong.
Almost as good.
Already listed on the website, I believe. Go check it out. mostlysuperheroes.com/contests. And we're going to highlight some fans as well from Apotheosis. You wanted to shout out some folks. And I know we had some people maybe here in the store, but I'll look to you, Martin. Who you want to talk about? What do you guys do in fan-related? Do you guys do prizes and stuff here in the shop, like drawings or stuff like that?
Every experience here is a prize at Apotheosis Comics. That's how we take it.
Salesman here.
Yeah, there you go. No, we so we always get free promos we give out to our customers. We give out free comics to customers. If we like, if there's something that we know someone likes and we see it somewhere, we'll grab it and bring it back to them. I brought some stuff back from London for a customer when I was on vacation over the summer, and then we always do a little something. I think our newest thing right now is if we just debuted a book club. So if you buy a book on the theme, you get a free sticker, and this month's sticker is our art, is our I Love Comics stickers.
Okay. All right. We love stickers on this podcast. Very cool, man. And you mentioned, we're going to give a big shout out to Derrick Goold.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. So, yeah, if you guys don't know, Derrick Goold is the Cardinals reporter. He covers all the stuff at the Post-Dispatch, and one of the most knowledgeable comic book people I have ever met. The dude is true blue. He hangs out with Stephen Wacker, which is a Marvel editor. Hangs out with Matt Kent locally. He is a comic book guru, and he's one of my favorite guys here at the store.
Shout out
Jupiter
Derrick.
Falls right now.
He's in Jupiter Falls.
Yeah.
Shout out Derrick. Big fan already.
Yeah.
We get to know Derrick. I mean, Scotty Scoop, I know that you're.
Yeah,
we haven't really got to dive into a lot of.
I've heard
the
Derrick before. Yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay. Scotty knows everything and everybody. This is why he's on the podcast. I also want to get like a fan reaction of this comic book store right now. First time.
This is a great store.
Thank you.
Man, you come in, it's cozy. You see, it's a feast for the eyes, this place. A lot of places you go in, it's kind of bleak. That's just like, just rows and rows of boxes of comics. And this is like decorated. Like the walls are painted and pasted.
Yeah, when I first started this place, the idea was we wanted to be the anti-comic book shop guide. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to be a place that was welcoming to customers. When you came in, you felt like you were supposed to be there. There's so many times when you walk in a comic book store and the guy doesn't give a shit that you're there.
Oh no, doesn't even look at you.
Doesn't look at you.
Say
Doesn't care
anything.
what you're reading.
Maybe make you pass a test.
Yeah,
to be in there.
Exactly. Yeah. So we tried to do the thing where we wanted it to look different, but also we wanted it to be like a place where you come in and you have to like experience a comic book. So that's why we have the history of comics on the walls of comics that take place in St. Louis. We have our Arches selection over there. We got some covers up on the walls, kind of classic books. And we try not to make it too junky, like, having stuff on top of stuff. When I first started a comic book store, I was so nervous about having like a basement filled with unsold comics that couldn't move, which appears to be like the thing that happens at all comic book stores. So we try to move stuff as fast as possible so it doesn't get junky all the time. Yeah.
Well, kudos to you. And I know that you've been doing work, like even just like this bar we're standing at right now has been a project for you. I mean, this is looking really fresh. Kudos on this.
Thanks,
Looks really nice. And the stage, you got a stage in here for open mic night type stuff, like music. I don't know, people telling stories. You can do anything up there.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're definitely Missouri's only comic store bar. We're probably one of only, I think we're now maybe the only comic book store bar in the country. So we want to put more of an emphasis on the bar, on events, and bring people in here. So I really spent the last couple months building up our calendar of like Monday we have Writers Club, Tuesday we have Magic Night, Wednesday we have a bunch of cross stitchers that come in, Thursday's D&D, Friday's open for shows. There's always something on. We put these new screens that have video games on them. We have our TV right here, so you can watch movies and all the new streaming Marvel stuff and anything that comes on TV. We have the stage where we do open mics for comedy. We have our 200th comedy show coming up this weekend. We do open mic music. I'll do beat poets. I'll do young kids want to play whatever the hell. We'll do it. So
hell yeah, man. Nice. Yeah. Well, I'm seeing a transaction happen back at your counter right now.
Sure, yeah.
And I think this is one of your fans, Steven. We told Steven maybe he'd come on the podcast. Steven, can we steal you for a minute?
Yeah.
Hey, no, bring over what you bought, man.
Yeah.
This is it. I mean, we'll put you up.
Steven can have my mic.
Too. You can share this mic with here, Andy or Scott, either one. And introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Steve. I come here. I spend way too much money on comic books.
Martin's thrilled about that. You live locally. How often would you say you come?
I get my pull list here, so probably once a week.
Yeah, very nice.
Every Wednesday,
if not more.
All right, this is the best fan mail of all time. What'd you get today?
So in addition to my regular pulls, I picked up some Eclipso Superman annuals from 91, 92.
You got a camera behind Martin's shoulder that you could flash him to, even that iPad.
Okay.
Yeah, so this
camera.
Yeah.
Joe Casada before he became Joe Casada. It was the publisher of Marvel Comics for about maybe 20 years or something.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, what else you got?
So got the Superman one where he's fighting Shazam. This one, Eclipso possesses Lois Lane.
Yes.
Got the wedding album because I got this back in 1997, and I did not bag and board my books at the time, so this lovely white texture rubbed against the books next to it, and is no longer pristine white like this one.
That's so real life.
Absolute dedication.
Right. So a little backstory on the wedding issue of
Please,
Superman.
yes.
Superman was originally supposed to have been married in issue 75 back in 1992, but the TV show was just Superman. Lois and Clark.
Lois and Clark.
Lois
Dean
and-
Cain?
Yes, Dean Cain. That show was just greenlit, and so what they wanted to do, Lois and Clark was like the romance between Lois and Clark, and so it was about them trying to get together, and they wanted to have the TV show marriage happen the same time as the comic book marriage. So they had to push back the marriage in the comic by a couple years. So at the Superman Summit that they do every year, they try to come up with the storylines they're going to do for the next upcoming year. And Jerry Ordway, who's a longtime Superman writer, every time he always joked at these meetings, he goes, why don't we just kill him? Just kill Superman. And I was like, bah, you can't kill Superman. But at this meeting, they were out of ideas because they had to scrap the wedding issue. So then they're like, yeah, maybe we'll kill him.
Maybe we will.
You know what? That might work.
Yeah, maybe we'll give it a shot. And that started the greatest storyline of a comic book storyline and actually changed the comic book industry forever.
That's what got me reading back in.
Yeah, flip that around.
That's what got me reading back in high school was Death Superman.
Superman.
That's where I started out.
Very nice.
I was that indignant kid that was like, oh, you can't kill Superman. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I've got every issue of Harley Quinn. I've got a few pieces by Amanda Connor, who did covers and was one of the writers on Harley Quinn for my favorite run of hers. So I recently just bought I need to bring it in and show you. I recently just bought a page from her first series back in 2000. Terry and Rachel Dodson did the artwork on the book at the time. So I bought a page of that. They had a storyline where Bizarro wanted to pick Harley for his wife. So it's got Harley, Bizarro, and Superman on this same page.
Oh, wow.
Along with Jimmy Olsen, but you gotta know who he is. Only like 2.
Okay, Jesus Christ.
He doesn't want Bizarro Lois Lane. You would think that would be the taste.
That
but...
was the next issue.
Oh, okay. So I'm on the right track
yeah,
anyway.
You're on the right track.
All right. Well, Steve, nice to meet you.
Do
Thank
you have the first appearance?
Yes, I
Oh,
do.
yeah,
Actually,
nice. Batman Adventures.
Batman Adventures number 12.
Number 12. That's right.
You guys want to trade numbers, emails?
Yeah.
He's Rabid Platypus on Instagram. How about you?
That's
You
right.
you like want people to follow you on Instagram, or you don't want people
not
to
on
find you
Instagram.
or anything? You want people to follow you anywhere?
Nah.
No. Anonymous. I love it.
Out of the store.
Yeah.
All right, now, people are giving it up in our ears right now. Actually, you guys give it up for Steve.
Woo!
All we need now is your social security number and your credit card number.
Yeah.
We definitely need
I
your.
gotta look it up.
We definitely need that
We
credit
have
card
a
number.
card on file. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, have a great night, Steve.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're gonna move into our next segment we call News and Rumors.
News and rumors.
I realize I've been saying the segment before I say the segment in the sound clip, so I'll try to stop doing that. What's new at Apotheosis? That's what I want to talk about.
Yes, thank you for asking.
How about Free Comic Book Day?
Yeah, so Free Comic Book Day is the biggest day of the year at every comic book store. We give out hundreds, if not thousands, of free comics that we get from our distributors. And this year is especially important because it's going to be on May the 4th, which is also Star Wars Day. Which is also a Saturday, which is also Free Comic Book Day, which is also Cinco de Mayo in the city of St. Louis. But more importantly, it's also Martin Casas Day. So when I work for the mayor, the last day, when you leave the mayor's office, they give you a proclamation for your service. And so when I went and told the mayor I was going to be leaving, she was like, well, when do you want to leave? And I did the math really quick. And I was like, well, if I leave next Friday, that's May the 4th. And that's the best day ever. And so, bam, I quit and I got May the 4th. So this
is a big weekend coming up.
Big weekend, yeah.
People can come here and drink, get your free comic books. You're gonna you're gonna see the Star Wars stuff. You're gonna see everything.
Star Wars stuff here. We're also gonna have a special guest artist and creator, Kyle Starks, who did the recent Peacemaker run from DC Comics.
Hell yeah!
So he'll be here along with some other special guests who don't want to be named yet. And then, but it's a great day because we're here like for 12 hours. We're gonna free comics. So, we'll be debuting a new drink, and it's always the best day of the year, man.
Hell yeah!
You see me wear my Spider-Man jacket. It's the best.
This is like the weird year where everything's falling on the same days and weekends. That's like with the Super Bowl and everything, with Mardi Gras happening this year in St. Louis. Now we got Comic Book Day happening with everything else.
For fucking up 2020 when
Yeah.
like all that the
was real bad.
symmetry of the 2020 date and times and events, and so they're making up for it.
Well, we want to plug right into what you're doing and help you promote
Thanks,
it.
man.
We're trying to collaborate with Steve Ewing on a Star Wars collaboration for Star Wars
yeah.
Day. So maybe the three of us should do something, like
Let's
three
do it.
entities. I mean, all of us.
We should do something. We are also the most recent thing we're going to be doing before Free Comic Book Day is 314 Day.
Yeah.
And so this
right.
year we're partnering up with STL Made to do a. We've decided that this town needs a superhero, so we're going to sponsor the contest to have all the local artists in St. Louis compete on making the official St. Louis superhero. And it's not going to be a guy that like has the power to run red lights. It's like we need a guy who's like optimistic, hopeful, everything you love about the region. So, and that's going to be from now until March 8th. We're taking submissions on Instagram. If you just tag 314 Day Hero,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to have a panel of judges who are comic book experts around St. Louis are going to vote on who the hero is.
Hell yeah. What a great project. I'm giving it up for you in our ears right now. That's really fun. Any way you can get money to artists, first of all, it's like, hey, this is money in your pocket, and you're going to make, you're making an epic St. Louis hero that everybody's going to be like looking up at, like, dang, finally. It's such a cool project.
Yeah, and we're going to try to expand. I think what we might do is we might take the top 5 and announce those guys, and we may make a thing called the JLSTL out of them. Justice League St. Louis.
Let's go. We're in. We're in.
That's a great origin story.
We all have
Isn't that a great origin story?
we have way too much in common, all of us. This is like we're all drooling at these ideas.
I've already got them in my head. If only I could draw more than a stick figure.
Yeah, I won't lie. I myself went into AI and was trying to do this stuff. So no cheating, and only artists actually doing the work. You're not taking any of that phony submission shit.
Dude, if an AI drawing won the superhero, I would get pitchforked.
Oh, for real.
It would kill me.
It didn't do a very good job either. It just put Batman ears on a guy with kind of a Superman logo, and they threw the arch in the back.
Oh, really? You did that?
Yes. I was curious what it would do, and it was bad. It looked like a robot tried to do it. We need the real artist.
It's not
you need real artists. It's got to be pen and ink and on paper.
Hell yeah. And nowadays you got to clarify.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure. Those are the rules. And you can check that at Apotheosis Instagram, STL Maids, and most of the superheroes. We shared that on ours too. So stay up to date.
Although I guess it's not paper and pen. It's got like on the
iPad.
Drawing pad. Yeah, iPad, yeah.
All right, talk to us about Marvel DC Omnibus.
Oh, dude, yeah. So
am I saying that right even?
Omnibus?
Omnibus.
You got to say it fast. Omnibus. Yeah.
This is where I need Scotty to read that one, I guess.
So Marvel and DC over the last 40 years have met a handful of times, and in the 70s, they did these 2 magazine-style like size editions where Superman and Spider-Man met, and it was awesome. And I got a backstory on that. And then the second book they did was Batman versus Hulk. And then you think, why in the hell would Batman and Hulk meet? But it's because they were the 2 most popular TV characters at the time.
Yep.
So Batman should have been over for a long time, but the Hulk was big. And it was drawn by Jose Garcia Lopez, beautiful artwork. Joker was the main villain. Long story short, anyway. So then they did X-Men Teen Titans, which is regarded as one of the greatest crossovers of all time. And then actually there was supposed to be a Justice League and Avengers meetup in the mid '80s, but because of licensing and like the editors got in a fight, it never came out. So actually, George Perez drew like I think maybe 15 pages of that crossover, and they got shelved. Rob Liefeld bought them actually a couple years later.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, Rob.
I love Rob.
Yep.
So then in the 90s, Marvel's having a whole bunch of financial problems, and 2 things happened that were kind of significant then. One was that DC Comics actually like distributed Marvel comics. So they printed them and they got them out in the market for Marvel. And because of that, they led to a lot of opportunities where they did a bunch of crossovers between Marvel and DC characters. So some awesome ones like Batman, Spider-Man by Mark Bagley. You had Daredevil Batman. You had Silver Surfer Green Lantern. You had Superman Silver Surfer. You had Captain America. Batman set in the 1940s by John Byrne, which had one of the best lines of any comic where the Joker and Red Skull use their gases on each other. Because like the Red's Jokers will make you like have like a stupid smile on your face.
Yeah.
Red Skull's gas turns you into Red Skull face.
Nice.
So they use it on each other, and it cancels each other out because like the chemical compounds are so similar, right? You know, and
Science.
Yeah, science.
yeah, science, yeah, and so then the Joker goes, "Wait a minute, what happened to you?" And he's like, "Well, whatever. I'm a true Nazi, and I'm not gonna fall from some American chemical." And Joker goes, "Well, hold on." I was like, "You're a Nazi?" He's like, "Dude, I don't work with Nazis. I may be crazy, but I'm an American crazy, and I'm not teaming up with no Nazi." And so then they get in a fight, which I was like, "Yeah, man, even Joker gets it. You don't hang out with Nazis."
Yep.
So that was the thing. And then they also did kind of the epic one was mid-90s Marvel versus DC, which was this thing where you back in there was an 800 number, you would call and you would vote for your hero. And so there's 3 issues where they would they had like Wolverine versus Lobo.
Oh,
Superman
nice.
I have
versus the
these.
Hulk.
I was say I think you have a lot of these, don't you,
I do
Scotty?
have a lot of
Oh,
these,
yeah.
And you remember all this?
Yep.
Yeah. So that was one, and then of course they did then they did Accent. Anyways, a lot of crossovers over the years. So they're gonna finally combine those into a one huge omnibus where you can have all of the crossovers in one huge book.
Whoa.
My favorite though is
hell yeah.
the one that came out of Marvel vs. DC in between issues 3 and 4. Because in order to save the universes, they had to mash them
Merge
together.
them to the amalgam universe.
Oh my
I sent you
God.
guys those covers.
Well, I was saying this
That
is
one
what
time.
I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you texted us.
Batman
those.
and Wolverine got smashed together.
Dark Claw.
And Superman and Captain America, Wonder Woman and Storm.
Like mash up. Like
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was called the Amalgam Comics. So
When can people
Ghost Rider and
what-
the Flash?
when can we expect the omnibus?
those drop, I believe, in June.
Hell yeah.
So we have pre-orders available on our website.
Dude,
now.
that cross, it's like it's been always very clear to me that I start drooling when I see time travel, multiverse, crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get those words, and then if you have them all at once, I can't even believe it.
Well, and it was the thing that like Marvel did so well during the movies. Like the crossover is what we wanted to see, right? Now, if you were to tell me that Marvel and DC were going to cross over in a movie, that would solve the economic crisis we're having. That would
Right.
recover the economy.
I mean, you give me an epic saga
all they
of
wanna see.
Superman and Silver
that's
Surfer
$1
out
billion
in space.
easy.
Yeah.
We
yeah,
we
no
talked
problem.
about this years ago, and we knew just who would direct it, and it was James Gunn.
James Gunn. Yeah, I mean,
So hold on.
he's the ultimate. He's a Marvel DC crossover in himself.
Correct.
So
Oh,
you know, I mean,
that's
he's
a good-
he's
will
a
unite-
DC
he will
boy
unite the
now,
world.
but
he will unite the world. Yeah.
yeah, maybe he could. All right, we also have some movie news. We're here to talk about comic books, but I like how you talk about how things happen kind of all at once, and it's not an accident, right? It's
Yeah,
kind of like, let's get our stories lined up a little bit. I mean, I also have questions for you and Scotty, our comic book folks here. Is, you know, what's coming first? Usually, it's the comics, and then usually maybe the big screen. Like this comics are always kind of teasing like the stories that are happening, and then maybe and then the big screen is like, okay, we'll see what happens. So on the big screen, we have 2 big things happening. Fantastic Four has got its casting announcement. It's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, Pedro Pascal. I'll just say it. Who else we got?
Vanessa Kirby as
Vanessa
Sue
Kirby,
Storm.
And the guy from The Bear is the
Yeah.
thing.
Guy from
Yes.
Stranger Things.
Cousin.
Is Johnny
Yeah.
Storm.
Yes, and we'll get these names in post, no problem. We also have Deadpool and Wolverine coming out this July.
Oh, yeah. Got the
The
trailer.
trailer
at
of the Super Bowl. We haven't even talked about it together, but Deadpool is Disney now, but he's saying I don't care. And TVA's at play. We got a
Dude, I
Wolverine
was
with iconic
blown away
outfit.
by how much the TVA was in that. Like,
Oh yeah,
it was
From
like,
as soon
minute
as
one.
I saw them step out, I was like, "Oh shit, they're doing it!"
Yeah.
it's the TVA.
And that
Yeah.
and then what's
This
his name?
makes total sense.
yeah, exactly right.
Off the back of Deadpool 2,
Uh-huh.
where he
Yes.
took Cable's time travel device,
Yes.
and he's going back and he's kind of cleaning up his own universe, and of course he would attract the attention of the TVA.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our realm for sure, Martin, in terms of like we see these movies, we talk about these movies, we see a lot of them locally at Alamo Drafthouse.
Yeah.
What do you guys do when these movies are happening? What is the world in the comic book shop whenever you know Deadpool's on the horizon?
Order up. Yeah,
Order up.
Yeah.
Read. Get
Merch.
your reading.
It is actually kind of interesting because there are some times where we'll like when Avengers Endgame came out, or even Infinity War, we went and got all the Avengers stuff. We got Thanos books, we got this, and then crickets. Like not a lot of people came in and bought the books. It took us a while to move them. Umbrella Academy came out on Netflix. We had like 2 volumes of it. They sold out immediately, and then we couldn't get any more for like 6 months, and we kept selling those out. So it is kind of weird. Like you would think that the comic books and the movies would be symbiotic. But we get free pass to go see the movies from the studios. They want us to talk about it. We'll do like a promo. We always try to figure out some kind of way to hook people into it. So they do come in, and especially with us being a bar, like we do really want to encourage people to have a conversation about it. So we're always looking for something, but we just order up. We'll do a big display, and
well, we're the people to help you.
God bless you.
Yeah, really.
We are. This is like the trifecta right here. Like this is our worlds combining. You talk about the crossover of the century.
Well, I'll say though that the thing that's interesting, I think I have some of those books here, but they
if you want to grab some, go ahead.
Yeah,
we're good.
When X-Men came out in 1999, the first one, like it was the Marvel learned a lesson from the first X-Men movie was that the X-Men that was in the movies looked nothing like the comics. So when they came in, fans would come in the comic book store, they're like, "Hey, where are these guys?" And they're like,
where's all their black suits?
Yeah, and the X-Men at the time were like, it was like Maggot and Colossus and like a bunch of weirdos. They were made the X-Men at the time, and so they just totally missed the boat on it. And they've tried to streamline it since then. And a lot of times what they do now is you can kind of see like what characters become of movies, because like a character will pop up in a comic book with a whole new design, and you're like, oh yeah, it's because that movie's coming out. And so like they're testing some of and if you look at the comics that have come out in the last like 3 years before the movie comes out, you can kind of see some of the notes from the comics that they put in there.
Very
So
cool.
It's interesting to see.
Even just from being online and not being an avid reader, I see the same thing. Like where a new character in the comics is getting portrayed, and I'm like, well, that's because they're going to be in that movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Interesting thing that I saw was that it looks like they're rebooting the X-Men this year in the comics.
Yes. Yeah,
Like
because the Krakoan age is over.
Right. It's they're gonna like just end everything and kind of just start again. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so currently the X-Men are in the for the last 4 years, they've enjoyed being the top of the food chain, and they created their own country, and they had this really deep storyline called the Krakoan Age, where they created their own country, and they made pharmaceuticals, and they became this global power. They colonized Mars, and then every year they have this thing called the Hellfire Gala, which is it's all the celebrities and superheroes come to Krakoa, and they celebrate, and they talk about mutants. This year they massacred all of them at the ball. And so now it's about the X-Men are now underground again. They're trying to fight to survive. And the survivors, though, are in this place called the White Hot Room, which is this thing inside the Phoenix. And half the audience just went to sleep. They're like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's
I'm
talking
interested.
Yeah.
I was already in.
So half the surviving mutants went to the White Hot Room, which is this thing inside the Phoenix entity. The Phoenix entity is about rebirth. So there's something that's going to happen. Nick, are you reading X-Men at all?
No, I stopped.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Like it's the fall of House of X. Or
Yeah,
something
Shout out
that's
Nick,
going
too.
on right
Yeah,
now?
shout out. Yeah.
Way to go,
Nick's
Nick.
working
Killing it
this
over
out.
there, making the money.
Yeah. Nick's running the store while I'm doing this. So, they are going to, I just heard that the other day, and I'm still trying to figure out what
What's
it all
happening.
means. Yeah.
All right,
And I
well,
assume we're going to get a bunch of new number ones.
Oh yeah, for sure.
all right, one more thing in TV and film. We'll get back to comic books because this is a comic book store. We want to stay on the comics,
I'm
but
kind of pissed we're not talking about comic books.
I know. And honestly, let's just move on.
No.
We'll just go to What You Sharing because
Take your time, dude. Go through the script.
there's only one more thing, and it was Scotty, so he was probably really sad that I was skipping it.
No,
What are you
it's
gonna-
fine.
Marvel plans to revive more canceled animated and live action series beyond Daredevil Born Again coming out,
Yeah.
and also X-Men
Oh,
97.
so good.
Oh man, I saw a great list from I think I shared it out there from Game Rant or something like that. The top X-Men animated episodes to watch ahead of the new series.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Go check it out. It's on our Instagram.
Okay.
So go to our feed. We have a nice article linked up, and there was it was funny because they had like the top 6 X-Men episodes on there, and I was like, all right, yeah, those are good. And then there was 2 Spider-Man animated series episodes when they crossed over with the X-Men. Because if you remember from the X-Men 97 promo that has just dropped, the Daily Bugle's in the first 2 seconds, and it says literally in a headline, "Is Spider-Man a mutant?" So he's going to be in the show.
Oh, I missed that.
Yes. How about that?
That
So
makes total sense.
that was just me fanboying out.
With
Yeah,
the-
go
with the
ahead. What was your
Spider-Man-
top?
I'm just
Spider-Man cartoon, that makes total sense.
Watch it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what are they going to bring back? Are they going to bring back the old Spider-Man cartoon?
Right.
off the back of this.
Yeah.
They already are.
Well, they are.
Spectacular
They already
Spider-Man
are.
freshman year.
Oh yeah, that's
Well,
right.
yeah, that's an
I-
MCU movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
MCU
thought that
animated
was like
Yeah,
series.
canon.
Yeah, it's canon for the MCU, but
Yeah.
Oh, good call.
you know,
That
but
is canon.
actually, there's a series they have coming on. Oh, go back to my point about how they're showcasing shows and comics. Right now, in Ultimate Spider-Man, it's an older version of Spider-Man gets his powers, or Peter Parker gets his powers later on in life when he and MJ are married. They have 2 kids, and he gets his powers later on. I would love to see that animated show.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm in for that.
What
Yeah.
is the Avengers show they had? Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Uh-huh.
Chef's Kiss.
Yeah, that was a great show.
So
Good show.
Yeah,
I
they
never
could-
watched that
They
one.
could bring that back.
That was a 2010 show, I think, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something
Well,
like
and
that.
shout out to Marvel Animation getting their own Marvel Studios backdrop logo is the first. They haven't even done that on What If yet. It was just Marvel Animation. Let's double down.
Do you think in Deadpool they're gonna bring the animated characters in somehow? Like
Man, that
they
would
got
be
the balls
great.
to do it.
They
Wouldn't
kind
that
of
be
did.
Awesome.
They did it in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness when Doctor Strange and America Chavez are falling through the multiverses, and one of them is a straight up cartoon.
Well, and they kind of did it in Spider-Man. What was the Spider-Man movie where they had Donald Glover was live action
Yeah.
in the cartoon?
Oh, that
Yeah.
was awesome. That was
Yeah.
that nailed
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't put anything past Marvel Jesus, fellas. Anything.
it. Marvel Jesus. Now, yeah.
Anything can happen in that movie.
All right, now if you thought we nerded out during the news and rumors, there's a lot going on in our realms. That's great. Let's talk about what we're sharing.
News and what you watching.
That is a cool little pad you got there.
Nice. My best friend.
Yeah.
All right, Martin, we're starting with you, man. You're sharing some really cool stuff. Tell us about Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Oh yeah. So we talked about our boy James Gunn, St. Charles native, now head of the whole DC multiverse, basically.
Insane.
There's a really great book that came out a couple years ago by Tom King, who is another great writer. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow deals with the trauma side of Supergirl, and this is something I've never really been a big Supergirl fan because I always kind of thought she was always played as this, she's happy, she's cheery. I didn't really get it, and Tom King really kind of lays out like the stakes of how Supergirl, why she is the way she is. And if you think about it, here's a girl who she was a teenager when Krypton exploded. So the origin of Supergirl is that she is her father, she is the cousin of Superman. Her father is brothers to Superman's father. And they're both brilliant scientists. When they find out Krypton's going to end, they go and build Argo City, which is able to escape the destruction of Krypton, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at some point in this young teenager's mind, she hears our planet's going to explode. We need to get on this thing, and we're going to go. So that's one thing. Then when she gets on this rock, the rock is slowly turning to kryptonite, and it's killing everybody on Argo City. So all of her friends and family who are survivors are dying on this rock, and she's seeing all this happen. And then her father's like, all right, look, you have to go to find your cousin Kal-El. Your only purpose in life right now is to find him, raise him, and take care of him. And she's like, okay. So then she leaves, right? Goes to Earth and finds out that her cousin is now Superman.
Yeah, years have passed.
Years have passed.
Her ship off trajectory, and now
Yeah.
he's a full-grown man. He is Superman.
Right. And so that's like a, you just kind of gloss over the facts. But when you what Tom King does beautifully in Woman of Tomorrow is he kind of tells that story about like a teenage girl, any teenager going through any kind of trauma. That's something that stays with them forever. And, just like that story of her getting there and having to realize, okay, look, I have to find a purpose is such a good, it's so beautiful, and the artwork is gorgeous. And it's what, like I said, James Gunn is going to use as the foundation for the Supergirl movie.
Which they just announced the casting for.
Mhm.
Millie
Alcock.
Millie Alcock,
from Hot D.
Yeah.
House of the Dragon. That's Scotty. That's all day Hot D. And I mean, I'm with you, Martin. Everything you said. I've been a Supergirl. I was introduced to Supergirl mainly through cartoons growing up, and then Smallville. Laura Vandervoort playing her in the Smallville show. That was a really good iteration, I thought. They kind of brought her back and forth. And Sasha Calle did a pretty good job in The Flash.
Oh, God, I love that.
I thought she was awesome.
I wanted her back.
And
I
Melissa
thought
Benoist. Melissa
that was a
Benoist,
great show.
the
Yeah.
TV
Yeah.
show on the
Shout out
CW. Unbelievable. And now, we got Millie. So, you know, this is the time. This is one of those times where we're probably seeing the trends aligned a little bit. Get to reading Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Read it.
It was
It's
good.
the best.
We usually rate. Have you read it already? You
Oh,
have.
yeah.
We rate it on a 4.0 scale. So what would you rate it?
So 1 is the least.
0 is bad. 4.0 is perfect.
4.0.
Yeah, that's usually how the big
Yeah.
stuff goes.
Like when I read it just a couple of days ago, I was really blown away about how her story came across, and she wasn't even really the main character in the story.
No.
And it was weird to see it through that looking glass of someone else that she was helping
Yeah.
and protecting.
Because it starts off with her. She turns 21 and she goes to a planet with a red sun because she wants to get drunk. And then she's there and then she has to become a hero again. And she's like, oh, God, I don't want to do it. But through that story is how you kind of look at her heroism.
Yeah.
I forget what the line is they say.
That's
about
super
we always
relatable.
move forward. Whoa, yeah.
It's like, oh, I just want to get drunk today.
I know. I gotta do work now. Goddamn.
All right, let's bounce around. We'll give Martin's voice a little bit
That's
of a
literally
break.
actually how it is working here, where I'm like, I have beers and comics.
It's a
But now
dangerous.
I got to do fucking accounting and run payroll. Are you crazy?
Got to file the taxes.
Yeah,
Like-
what? Do a permit? Come on.
All right, Andy, let's go to you, man. Tell us about some cool Lego stuff that you
Oh,
got.
man. My mom got me some Legos for my birthday last month. Shout out Paula.
Classic.
Thank you.
Shout out who?
My mom.
Paula.
Paula.
She got me the Iron Man Infinity Gauntlet.
Ooh.
Steph helped her pick it out, of course, and I'm pretty sure she ordered it for her, but it's the thought that counts.
That was a team up.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, it was my first delve into Legos in years. Like I did the Iron Man head like a few years ago. So enjoyable. Like it's something that you just pick up and whenever you don't have a couple of spare hours and just say goodbye to the world.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna look at these Legos for 2 hours and
Get
just
this thing together.
ignore everything else that's going on in life. And
That Groot was really cute.
yes,
We got to post that.
Yeah, for sure. Last week it was a snow day, and me and Steph went to Target, and I was like, "What do I do?" We were looking for games or something to get, something stupid like that, and that's what screamed to me. And 3 days later, Baby Groot was done and part of my collection. So this
Wow,
might be
well done.
Yeah, this might be
That's
I
fast.
think it's funny though that there was a snow day, and instead of getting milk and eggs, you went and got Legos.
Yeah, I know.
You guys do Legos here?
You were risking death, sir.
Trust me, we like skirted some of our like things that we were supposed to do and went to Target instead. Like
Yeah.
Like,
See,
oh,
he went
we're-
to Target. You guys do Legos here?
We don't do Legos here.
Not yet.
Fuck, never.
It's just like the inventory. You got to.
Inventory's too much.
You can do one at a time or something.
Competition's too much. Like it's there was a time where we couldn't even sell Pokemon because Target was selling so many of them. But we eventually were able to sell Pokemon again because Target relinquished the amount they were buying because there were fist fights at Target and other collectible stores. So I'm not joking. There were literally fist fights. Like
Pokemon people are crazy.
My dad ran a Pokemon store at a flea market for 3 years, and
Oh, yeah.
Saturdays were nuts.
Yeah.
Pokemon, Magic, and now Lorcana
Lorcana, yeah.
is one of the new things. It's like a Disney
Card game.
So one of the things I know is our biggest weak spot here is that I don't know card games, I know board games. I'd love to get into it. The profit margins are very minimal, so I'm not really interested in it, but everyone wants to do it. And I don't know. I cannot describe any of the rules, or someone's like, what set are you playing?
No, you need someone to come and
We're playing
do it.
Magic the Gathering. Yeah, but what, like, the one with the cards? Like, there's like 7 different. So I hired a guy to do that, and he does all of the Magic stuff. I just like, this guy's asking about a booster set for.
Is that a local guy?
Yeah.
You plug it? You want to plug him?
No.
Okay. That's all right. Cut.
Yeah, he's fired. No, it's every Saturday. So every Saturday we do a Pokemon thing from a learn to play Pokemon because a lot of kids buy cards, have no idea how to play them. So we teach kids how to play them. And then Tuesdays we have a Magic, just a tournament.
I'll send my dad over here on Saturdays.
Bring him by.
And he could be like, I remember, I think.
Yeah.
All
Did he
right.
play or just sell?
He sold and he would help run the tournaments too. So he was mostly selling though. He would get the kids that knew it best and have them lead. He put them to work.
Dude,
it was a flea market. He was making it.
We got guys that a box of Magic cards, right? And they go for $260. And I call a guy and I'm like, hey man, I got these sets in the set of cards. I hate to tell you though, they're like $260. And he's like, can I get 2 of them?
Yeah.
I go, yeah, of
They
course.
don't care.
They do not care. They do not care. There is crack cocaine and there is Magic the Gathering cards, and I would say they are the same.
Yes.
It's the same. It's sticky, as they say.
Exactly.
All right, Scotty, let's go to you. This is comic book related. Ultimate Spider-Man #1.
Yeah, Martin talked on it just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't bought new issues for quite a while, and something that really piqued my interest was the return of the Ultimate Universe, which died out, I don't know how long ago. It was 6 years, 5 years?
Well, about 2010 was the last time
Okay,
they killed them all off.
I'm really old. So, yeah, they destroyed this universe, and just in the last, year, they brought it back with an event, as they always do.
Yeah.
And they've started again, and this is an old Peter Parker. Not old, but I would say probably, 35?
Dude, if you just said 35 is old, I'm going to fucking throw a can.
Well, I'm 43, so...
Okay, so same. So
Older than high school
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
So,
he's a youngish middle-aged
He's
guy.
really young.
And he never got bit. He's married.
Oh, I see. Right.
He's married to
Okay.
MJ. He's got 2 kids.
Right. Okay.
And Tony Stark has sent him a message
Yeah.
with the spider that says, hey, you were supposed
Yes.
to be bit 20 years ago. We need heroes in this universe.
Oh my God.
And
that sounds dope.
This is really up to you. You could let this
Time
thing
travel,
bite you.
crossover, it's all happening.
You could let this thing bite you, and you could be Spider-Man, or you could just not and live your life. And I think
with no power comes maybe no responsibility.
Right.
Well,
Uncle
or
Ben
does
is still
he?
alive.
Uncle Ben's alive.
Oh.
But what's
In this
interesting about
universe?
is his responsibility is different now because it's to
Yes.
his family.
Right.
Yeah, he's
totally.
got a family to take
Yeah.
care
He's
of
35
now.
in New York. I bet he's broke still.
Yeah,
He's
married-
working for the Daily Bugle,
Oh, nice.
which his Uncle Ben worked for.
Oh, okay.
So
A little bit more. Not a paramedic
No.
Was Uncle Ben a paramedic?
in Madam Web.
This is a Madam Web.
Shut up. I
Spoiler.
haven't seen it yet. Sorry.
Spoiler alert. Sorry about that.
Uncle Ben is a
Uncle Ben.
paramedic.
You know what? I didn't.
Yes.
Sorry, fans, because I'll put a spoiler alert in there for
No one
them.
cares
You
about
didn't.
Madam Web.
Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I didn't really spoil anything because you'll forget that I told you this. Just see it and then see
Don't
if
see
you
it.
put together.
Sure.
Don't see it,
Well,
Martin.
stream it at home for free when it happens.
Yes.
So actually, I feel really bad, and I shouldn't say this a lot, but I am a guy that says go see the superhero movies because I'm so tired of these dudes online that are just dumping on Marvel movies. Saying, oh, this one's bad, and then Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel's awful, Miss Marvel's the worst, She-Hulk sucks, and then you go and see them like this is a great.
Yes,
all of
right.
those things you just said were
They're
fantastic.
amazing, yeah, but they're all dumped on. So I'm like, go judge for yourself. I've never
Always.
had a single customer come in the store and be like, it was good. You got to see it, which is telling.
Right. You're comparing it across what the people.
Correct.
Yes, and we're in that category too. We love the Marvels.
Yeah.
Like we were
Yeah.
like we
It was
and I don't
awesome.
listen to those 20%. Sometimes I think on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm like, oh, that means I'll love this. And even Madam Web, we're gonna really get into it on another episode, but there were parts of me that still loved it.
Yeah.
But there's so many things that are just so bad too that were like, okay. Scotty kind of said at the end, he's like, dude, this was just a mistake.
Well, you know what?
And it felt like a
Look.
joke. It felt like a joke.
Yeah.
Look, Venom and Venom and Mac and Carnage. What was the second one called? Something Carnage.
Let
There
There Be
Carnage. And Venom 3's coming up.
Dude, like, what are they doing? You got to have Spider-Man in these movies. Like, he's
Some-
integral to
Oh,
the
and,
story.
and
like,
this one is like the most that they've ever done, where
Yeah.
it's like just so adjacent to a Spider-Man that just has never existed. Like it's the weirdest
And
thing.
it was supposed to take place in the Andrew Garfield universe, right?
This took place in 2003.
That's a big thing too for this
Wait,
movie.
what?
Yes.
2003, and there is no Spider-Man in this universe.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
We're
in
talking
2000
spoilers for
why
this
in
movie.
2003?
That's
Well, that's
because
to be revealed, maybe.
Yeah.
We're
In the sequel?
you would have to figure out. You would have to find the guy
Yeah, the
at
sequel.
Sony that got hit in the head
Adam
before
Webb
he
2.
greenlit this movie.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Martin, tell us about Transformers by Daniel Warren Johnson.
Oh my God.
This is the new Transformers.
New Transformers series. Yeah. So a couple years ago, a couple months ago, the Energon universe came out. So it's Skybound Comics, which is headed by Robert Kirkman, who did Walking Dead,
Invincible.
Oblivion Song, Invincible, all this stuff. And slyly, they announced this book called Void. Void something or other. Hey Nick, what's that Void song? That Void book? Void Rivals. God bless
Way
you.
to go, Nick.
Yeah, way to go, Nick. Shout out, Nick.
Assist.
And so the end of it, the reveal was that there was a Transformer in the end of it, and then it was like that book came out, and I'm like, is that a I forget the Transformer's name. Anyways, so Daniel Warren Johnson, who draws these like his influence is manga with like really hyper detailed artwork. He's a big wrestling fan. And he's done a bunch of really good books. One was called Murder Falcon, which is about a musician and his imaginary falcon friend. And then Wonder Woman Dead Earth, where Wonder Woman rips out the skull of Superman to use a battering ram to kill dragons.
Wow. That's awesome.
Do a Power Bomb, which is about a wrestling family. It's absolutely, I cried reading it on the way to wherever the hell I was going. And then, but this one is about, so it is Generation 1 Transformers, but slightly darker. So the first issue is like basically the first episode of Transformers, a cartoon, but like I said, slightly darker. And I mean, you got Optimus Prime DDTing people. He's clotheslining them. There's this awesome scene where like where one of the humans shoots him with like a cannon. Optimus Prime, his arm's all dinged up, but he's like fighting Starscream. And he rips his own arm off and starts beating Starscream. And like, it's just kind of artwork like that, which is just, but there's also these really emotional scenes where like in the second issue where Optimus Prime comes out of like wherever they're hiding and he steps on this deer and he kills it. And he looks down and he's like, oh my God. And he goes, I didn't realize how fragile this world was. And it's this really great scene that characterizes Optimus Prime as both a leader, but also sets up like why he has to take care of these humans. And, it's our top-selling book. It is so much fun. It's a blast every issue. And Daniel's going to be joining us via Zoom in April when we talk about Murder Falcon, and he's going to be drawing an arch for the wall, too. So
Hell yeah, way to go.
I'm very
Daniel Warren
excited.
Johnson.
Yeah, Daniel Warren
Transformers.
Johnson. They're bringing back, and a part of the Energon universe is G.I. Joe. They're doing great. So they have a G.I. Joe series, a Duke series, a Cobra Commander series. It's the best.
They're
Hell
wrapping
yeah.
all this into one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to rate it.
That's the
On
thing.
that 4.0
Shared
scale.
universe.
You know what? I think I threw away a 4.0 earlier, but I'm going to give this a 3.7.
Nice.
It's close, but I can't be giving those things out left and right.
And sometimes if you're feeling real froggy, you can throw a second decimal in there.
Oh yeah.
And that kind of helps you sometimes just like creep up a little or down. So keep that in
Think
mind.
about that. Good note. Good note.
All right, we got one more from you, Martin, then we'll move on to the meat because we're in a St. Louis comic book store. We're going to talk about some St. Louis comics. You mentioned that you wanted to share a little bit about CIA Comics in Amsterdam.
Yeah. So
I'm looking at Scott. Do you know what that is?
Nope.
This ringing a bell?
I've got nothing.
You got
on
nothing.
that.
Okay.
So, first of all, St. Louis has a lot of amazing comic book stores. Go out and they're all small businesses. They all do this business because they love comics. They love talking to people. They're passionate about it. So go shop at every comic book store out in the area. However, if you're in Amsterdam, you want to go to this place called CIA Comics, which is called Comic Importers of Amsterdam. And it is around the corner from the Anne Frank Museum. and the one of the owners will be here in April for the Daniel Warren Johnson thing. He's visiting the States, and you guys should actually interview him because he is. So you can talk about European comics. You can talk about just like what it's like over there for pop culture.
Yes.
He was just in London.
I remember you messaging me about that one. Yes,
Dude,
absolutely. We're in.
He's awesome.
We're in.
He's a journalist too. So it's a shop that's run completely by volunteers. And the guy who I met there he's a reporter, but also wants to get free comics, so that he shops there. So you walk into this guy's house, and it is a row house that you would mistake. In fact, it took me a while to get there. You got to knock on the door. A dude answers the door.
It's just a house.
It's just a house. It's a house. And he opens the door, and you're immediately like, I'm in the wrong place. And you look down the hallway, and there's just ginormous chandelier hanging at the end of the hallway. And then the dark hallway with like manga on the side. And you walk in, you're like, hey, is this a comic book store? And he's like, yeah, what you looking for? And I'm like, well, let me just kind of look around. And then to the side is his dining room with the back room that leads out to the garden that he has blocked off. And then just piles of comics and rows of comics. And he's like, what book are you looking for? And I go, well, I'm just kind of, I don't know. He's like, just tell me. And so I name a random book, and he's like, yeah, it's probably over here somewhere. And then, this dude has so many comics because not only does he have all the recent comics, because he also is a supplier for Eastern European comic book stores. So he gets like, if I get a 1 in 100 comics, so if I order 100 comics, I get one in 100 comic, which I can then sell for like $200. This dude gets 1 in 100 books because he's moving so many of them.
Whoa.
Man.
So he came in and
He's a trafficker.
Dude, tell me about it. So he's like, oh yeah, so we talk about comics. You go in the basement. He lets me pick out just as many of those as I want. So I come back home with a pile full of 1 in 100 comics and try to sell them. I still have one of them over there. And then he's like, all right, so you want to see something cool? And I'm like,
Of course.
Dude,
I haven't yet.
always, yeah. So we go into the basement, and then he's got like his like whole bottom shelf is like all of like his selection of comics that he's like so we have pull lists, which so if you're a comic book reader, you want to get a comic book, we set up a pull list, we'll pull the comics for you. It is under that table where Nick is right there. We've got to
Come get him.
come get him. This dude's got a basement full of them because he's supplying for all of Amsterdam and everywhere else in the area. It's bonkers. And so we go there. He's like, hey, you want to see my collectibles? And I'm like, yeah, man. So now, because Amsterdam is like a canal city. So we are below the canal now in this first basement. We go to the sub basement, and I immediately think I'm going to get killed. My family doesn't know where I'm at because I've been gone for 2 hours. They're very worried about my whereabouts. They don't
I'm
know.
picturing like hostile.
Yeah, I'll say
Yes.
if you text your family and you're like, I'm in a sub basement in Amsterdam, they're like, help him, help him.
Exactly right. Yeah. And so I go in the sub basement. He's like, yeah, let me show you some of my collectibles. And so, have you ever seen the first appearance of Robin, which is like Detective Comics, I think 35 or something? And so he opens up this bathroom door, and in the shower is a stack of slab, which is like protective, like they in order to like preserve a copy of a book, you slab it. You put in protective covering, and it's a good idea to do that because it puts a grade on it. You know how much it actually is worth. In the shower of this guy's house is a stack of slabbed books, and in them, it's going through, clock, picking the books up. Oh, here it is. First appearance of Robin, Captain America #1, and all this shit. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And he just has all these books. And he's like, yeah, I got all these books. He didn't give me any of them, but I got to hold one of them. And I was like, I walked out there like, what the fuck what is going on?
Like you just walked out of a multi-million-dollar operation.
Totally. And so this guy, but they're, I forget his name. It's a very Netherlands name. And, but like they were just the coolest guys ever. He gave
And it's
me
called CIA.
CIA Comics.
Okay, great.
If you go to Amsterdam,
Yep.
skip the red light.
Because we're gonna find them.
Go straight there.
We're gonna be tagging them if they're anywhere.
This is the nerd red light district.
Yeah, no,
Hell
very
yeah.
much so. Like, and it was the coolest experience. Like, if you go to Denver, you go to Mile High Comics, and he has over 2 million books. I mean, they do not have that many books, but it was quite the experience. Like, it was just incredible. And so when they come to town here, I'll make sure you talk to them, because they do a lot of stuff. And he's like supplying comics to like Ukrainian comic book stores, which is like the last thing. But it's important because I remember like during the pandemic here.
Interesting.
When we had the pandemic, our best-selling book was a title called My Little Pony Meets Transformers. And it was because of all the shit happening during the pandemic, people just wanted something.
An escape.
They wanted something that felt good. And this guy, they're supplying comic book stores to war-torn parts of Eastern Europe. And, it's a great service, honestly. And he's making sure that people still get their books over there. And but it is a trip. So if you go to Europe, definitely visit Amsterdam.
Yeah, and we got listeners in Europe too, so go check them out.
Yeah. Netherlands is great, and I visited a comic book store in every city I went to in Europe, and it was great.
Well, we started right here in St. Louis, Apotheosis Comics and Lounge, and we're right here in St. Louis, and now we've traveled across, and we're talking about Comic Books International. So why not? That's a great way to end our segment, What You Sharing, and this is where we take a break. So stick around. We'll come right back.
Oh, damn.
Hey squad, Logan here from Mostly Superheroes, wanting to talk to you today about some real life heroes. Team Jakey, headquartered here in St. Louis, Missouri. They're turning the tragedy of losing their beloved Jake Zeller into life-changing action. Not just by making a difference, but by saving lives. Team Jakey supports both the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and Provident Behavioral Health here in St. Louis. Join us at their annual Gentleman Jake Memorial Cornhole Tournament. It's more than just a game. It's a community coming together to lift each other up with some of the world's best prizes. If you're feeling down or know someone who is, Team Jakey's here with a message of hope. Reach out by calling 988. You can also visit www.afsp.org or text TALK to 741-741. You're not alone, and there's always a way forward. Someone's waiting for your call or text message. Search for Team Jakey on Facebook and learn more at www.mostlysuperheroes.com/give. Every bit helps, and together, we can make a difference. When I'm looking to catch the latest flick or indulge in a film classic, there's no place like the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema at the City Foundry, St. Louis, Missouri. It's where cinema and comfort collide, with plush seats, state-of-the-art visuals, and a menu that's a blockbuster in its own right. For you movie buffs that can't get enough, check out the Alamo Season Pass. For just $19.99 a month, you can watch as many movies as you want, up to one per day. It's the ultimate ticket for those who live and breathe movies. That's not all. The Alamo Drafthouse is more than just movies. It's an experience, with events that celebrate film culture, trivia nights that test your movie knowledge, and a bar that's a tribute to cinematic absurdity. It's the ultimate hangout for anyone who loves a good story. You can also book the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema for your private events, birthdays, celebration, corporate events, or even staple events like our Screen and Social. So whether you're a diehard cinephile or just in for a good time, join me and the crew at 3765 Foundry Way in St. Louis, Missouri. Dive into their showtimes and events at www.drafthouse.com. And don't forget to tell them Mostly Superheroes sent you, because every movie night should be legendary. When we're not on the airwaves exploring the multiverse with Scotty Scoop and the Giggler, we are browsing the shelves at Apotheosis Comics and Lounge here in St. Louis. It's not just a comic book shop, it's a community hub where stories come alive. Every Wednesday, join owner Martin Casas and fellow fans for the latest pulls. Get your hands on the newest issues and maybe snag a hidden gem or two. It's not just about the comics either. Apotheosis hosts comedy shows, artist learning sessions, game nights, and an epic bar where you can enjoy a cold one with new and old friends alike. Looking for more? Dive into discussions at their comic book club or attend one of their many events celebrating the love of comics, comedy, community, and more. It's the perfect place to unwind, debate your favorite heroes and villains, learn something new, and discover epic and local adventures alike. Find your next favorite read or hidden gem at 3206 South Grand Boulevard in St. Louis, Missouri, and check out www.shopapotheosis.com. Check out Apotheosis Comics and Lounge and make sure you tell them that Mostly Superheroes sent you, because every superhero needs a lair. Hey squad, it's Logan from Mostly Superheroes. Today I want to share with you a group that's very close to our hearts. Tiny Superheroes, right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Tiny Superheroes is an incredible organization that empowers kids overcoming illness or disability with their very own superhero capes, because every child deserves to feel like a superhero. Tiny Superheroes is on a mission to empower extraordinary kids all over the world. These aren't just any capes. They're symbols of strength, courage, and the superpowers that every child has inside. For every cape purchased, Tiny Superheroes donates one to a child overcoming challenges, spreading joy and confidence. And the adventure doesn't stop there. These tiny superheroes embark on monthly missions, earning patches and joining a community that celebrates their unique journeys. So, let's rally behind these little legends. Visit www.tinysuperheroes.com to learn how you can support their mission. Whether you're gifting a cape or joining their squad, you're helping to uplift heroes who inspire us every day.
The meat.
Welcome back from the break. This is Mostly Superheroes, back again, here still in Apotheosis Comics and Lounge, off Grand in St. Louis, Missouri, with your host Logan, Scotty Scoop, the Giggler, and Martin Casas, and Nick. Nick, welcome to the pod, man. Say hi, introduce yourself. You've been working the shop the whole time we've been in here. Customers are wheeling and dealing. I think you just told me you've been here a couple years. Tell us about yourself.
Nick, I've been working here for 2 years. It's a fun time. Get to hang out, talk about comic books. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a big reader. You said you've been a lifer of comic books, reading it, and this is the perfect job for you, right? This is kind of like best of both worlds. A little work, a little money, but look around. I mean, this is your place of work.
I got an employee discount, but I don't save no money.
Very nice, very nice. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about St. Louis comics, and Martin, I'm kind of gonna let you lead the conversation. We'll see where we go, because this is gonna be like a double highlight of comic books and our city.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of end with we're in the shop. I want to hear about the shop. So talk to us about some St. Louis comic books.
Yeah, so when you come in the bar, when you come in the store and you go to the bar, above the bar is my collection of comics that take place in St. Louis. So this started with a book called X-Men. If you don't know X-Men, sorry, man. It started with X-Men 36 when I was reading it. And so X-Men 36 is about a character named Sync. And in the book, he's surrounded by police because the first time he uses his powers, he blows out all the windows in his neighborhood. And so he says, officer, are you going to arrest me because I yelled too loud? And he says, no, Everett, because when you yelled, you blew out every window between Grand and Gravois. Now, for anybody who knows where our shop is, Grand is that way, Gravois is there. That is a Tower Grove East Apotheosis superhero right there. And his 30th anniversary is this year. So we're going to do something for Sync and Generation X this year. So
there's an applause happening right now.
And he's also the leader of the X-Men now. So Everett Thomas, Sync, Tower Grove East neighborhood, and actually when I was president of Tower Grove East Neighborhood Association, I made him the official superhero of the neighborhood.
Yes, and to be replaced by the new St. Louis comic hero coming from a local artist.
Yes.
Right? That's a little plug there. All right, tell us about another one.
So I started kind of doing research on what other books have taken place here, which led me to the Fantastic Four book right there in the middle, where the Hulk and Thing fight on top of the Arch. And you can tell kind of a common theme of the Arch, and really up to recent days, that no one's really seen what it looks like. So that cover there, you've got some guys have their heads sticking out the windows.
Very large windows.
Very large windows. Vomit inducing.
Pretty close though. Pretty close.
If you could put your head out there would be vomit everywhere on the floor because it'd be too much.
Yeah, you could tell they were like, "Listen, is that the Arch?" They're like, "That's definitely the Arch. It's the big black wall on the side." Anyway,
yeah,
looks cool though.
That thing's been catching my eye for the whole 2 hours that we've been
It's
here.
a great cover.
I can't stop looking at it.
It says there's a shock ending.
Yeah.
Yes, well, the shock ending is... Oh,
spoiler alert. Yeah, come in and get it.
So there's that issue there, and then kind of the... as we go down the line, you have Aquaman, which is drawn by Cullen Bunn, lives in Springfield, Missouri. Aquaman, for some reason, an Atlantean temple materializes beneath the arch. Aquaman swims up the Mississippi to fight it. Thank God. The first time Avengers West Coast and East Coast met was in that book on the end there. Was in St. Louis. On the top shelf, top row, there is The Son of Satan, a guy named Damien Hellstrom. That book is called The 4,000 Holes in Forest Park. Now, Damien Hellstrom was written by a guy named Steve Gerber, who is a born and raised St. Louisan, wrote for Marvel Comics to the 70s, creator of Man-Thing, Howard the Duck, and Son of Satan, who is a professor of theology at a Jesuit college in St. Louis, and he has adventures all over the city. My two other favorite storylines are going to be, well, actually, okay. Skyrocket in the middle there was that was part of the Power Company, a DC comic book in the year 2000. She lives in Lafayette Square. That's kind of in the middle there. Firepower, written by Robert Kirkman, creator of Walking Dead, by Chris Samney, who lives in Wildwood. That is a kung fu book that takes place there. Love, Strange Love Adventures with Harley Quinn the dinosaur. That's the first appearance of Eagly, who is Peacemaker's
Yes. Sidekick.
Yes,
and
exactly
pet.
right. Yeah. And then you kind of go down like Scalp Hunter. That's a DC character that takes place in the 1800s in St. Louis. But, we also have like one of the greatest comic book writers of all time, or artists of all time, Jim Lee, went to high school, of course, here in St. Louis for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And he drew the book on the top shelf there called Deathmate, which is a crossover between Image and Valiant Comics, which was the biggest competitor to DC and Marvel at the time because it had all the young top talent. That is takes place in a thing called the Ark, where it's the evil empire of his world is in the Ark, which is two arches joined together. And then they blow it up. And then actually below that is Divine Right on the very end there, also drawn by Jim Lee. That's all in St. Louis. It's got a King Arthur kind of thing happening. And it mostly takes place in the Central West End, which is amazing. And then Iron Man in the middle, when James Rhodes, who took over for Tony Hawk,
Great skateboarder, billionaire.
Talk about crossovers we need right there.
Tony Stark.
Taken over by War Machine.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't know how to pilot the Iron Man armor, so he brought it to St. Louis, and Hank Pym had a lab here to show him how to work it. And a guy broke in the lab and robbed them almost immediately.
Did they shrink the arch?
That doesn't sound like St.
No,
Louis.
they did not, yeah. Well, that took place in the 80s, so that's the most St. Louis story ever.
I want to read all these, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Archie Pals and Gals. That has Joe Edwards in it from Blueberry Hill. The story is Archie's jalopy is stolen. He reads it in the paper that he sees a picture of Joe Edwards with his jalopy in front of Blueberry Hill. Archie flies out to St. Louis, finds out it's in fact not his jalopy, and Joe Edwards does make an appearance. One of my, so kind of the two that I'll wrap it up with are...
You're doing great.
Thank you. I give the speech probably 1,000 times.
This is going to be an amazing clip on Instagram.
Oh, great. Justice League at the very bottom there. That is the 1972.
It will feature all these covers. Oh my God.
Superman or Justice League comes to St. Louis because Santa Claus is murdered. They have to
Christmas and St. Louis?
Yes. And they great picture of the Justice League on top of the arch in that book. They find out Santa Claus is in fact not murdered. It's just some guy, but they were going to blow up the Pruitt-Igoe housing complex in that storyline, which is bonkers.
I need the Justice League on the arch in our studio.
Yeah. We
Like
should
that.
get that made. Yeah, it should be.
This is a moneymaker for you
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
that's
Just so you know.
that's one of my arches over here.
There's a
That's what-
reason you put it on this wall. I know.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
This yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay,
This is the so my favorite though is that Gambit, one of the most popular X-Men of all time, very popular in the X-Men '97 series.
Yes, in the promo even.
Yeah, he's a Cajun. And his first appearance was in Uncanny X-Men 288, I think, and it actually was in Cairo, Illinois. So he rescued Storm in Cairo. So this book here, X-Men 52 up here, Mr. Sinister has kidnapped Bishop and Gambit at the same time, and Gambit and Bishop escape. They get out of the secret laboratory. Bishop has no idea where they are. Gambit looks around, immediately recognizes that he's in Sauget, Illinois.
Oh my God.
How he recognized that, probably.
We know.
Yeah, we all know.
That's a local joke right
Gambit
there.
immediately knew where he was, and that is one of my favorite books because
Hope he had some ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because that is the greatest Gambit story of all time.
And I mean, you talk about characters you need to be knowing right now. I mean, Gambit, Sinister. I mean, these are big time characters in the X-Men '97 show coming
They're
up.
all. I mean, Mr. Sinister's in there.
Mr.
All
Sinister,
these
yeah.
guys are going to be in the show. Yeah, for sure.
Dude,
Yeah.
Epic Collection. Can people
Thank
are these books that people can come in and read, buy? Are these just for show? Is this your collection?
These are just for show, but they're all on our website. So if you go to shopapotheosis.com, there's a page there called St. Louis Superheroes, and they're all collected in there with screen grabs of all the comics.
Good.
We've got the Iron Man one at the bar for people to check out as well. It's over there by the controllers.
Yeah, we got a little reading section here at the bar if you ever want to come and have a beer, get something to read. We also have this really great book there called it's called Superheroes, and has a seminal story called Man of Steel, Woman of Kleenex, and it explains how Superman can have sex.
Finally.
Yes.
Kryptonite
yeah.
condom.
Finally.
We all know.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
I love that. Like all the stuff around, like I mean, with the more graphic superhero stuff nowadays with the boys and showing how kind of like how it would really be. Like, yeah, that kind of piques my interest.
Yeah, and a lot of this stuff too is that how the store is designed is to kind of create conversation and to bring people into like get them not committed to the store but feel connected to it. But also it's that when a lot of people come in, the first thing they say is, "I haven't read comics since I was a kid. This is mostly a kids thing." There's still kind of that stigma about comics being mostly for kids, but when you kind of unwrap the stories behind it and the origins, the importance of it, and explain that comic books are American mythology. Mostly for adults, yeah.
Well, shoot, I mean, you got Manifest Destiny up there.
Yes.
That is definitely not for children.
Definitely not for children, no.
Yeah, we've got some plans. These guys don't even know this for the show to kind of dive deep into the mythology of superheroes a little bit more and kind of get back to some of where those original stories come from because they're the epic stories from forever put into books for you to read. Like truly,
Greek mythology and mostly the Greek pantheon were.
We said it's a bar. It's also a bar.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. My NA beers are getting me.
Nice. NA options. Cool.
The Greek mythology was based on like trying to explain things around them and how man could confront them. It's the same thing with superheroes. Superman was more powerful than locomotive, able to leap a tall building in a single bound. And as time went on, his powers grew because they needed something that could challenge those things. So then he was able to fly across the ocean to fight the Nazis. He was able to go into space, in the space program. He could survive a nuclear bomb. So superheroes have always been American mythology, and I love talking about it.
That's awesome. That's like the line from Captain America Civil War, whenever they're kind of talking about the causality of heroes and villains in general. I think Vision says in that movie, like our very existence brings the challenges that challenge us. So there's a back and forth and ebb and flow, some yin and yang. Very nerdy. Love it.
That's this guy's character.
I love
Captain America.
Yeah.
Nick, you tell us. You were telling us you are Captain America's your guy.
Oh, Captain America's always been my guy.
You're reading some stuff lately.
Yeah. I really like the current run of Captain America. It's like a supernatural type whodunit kind of thing.
My partner would love that. Carrie would love a good whodunit, and I would love Captain America. So maybe it's something we could team up on.
Yeah, and it's really cool too because they flash back to New York in the 30s when there was like Nazi rallies happening in New York.
Very cool.
So it's a historical too.
Very nice. Well, again, applaud the St. Louis collection, Martin. I mean, as a St. Louis guy, like I just want to read all of them. Like I really am. Like it's getting me nerdy, and I really want the artwork. It's like picturing the Justice League up on the arch, stuff like that. And then you mentioned you have another wall on the other side. What's going on over there?
Yeah, so this is this started as a joke because we were talking about
That's all right. It's just Scott's GoPro.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the backup footage.
So this started off because I wanted to find out how much it would cost Jim Lee to draw a picture of the arch, which is 2 lines. Which we tried, and we didn't get a response back from.
Nice.
But so whenever we have a comic professional or a celebrity visit the store, we have them draw an arch. So it started with Neil Gaiman in the lower left-hand corner there when
Wow.
he was in town for Slews. They were giving him a literary award, and I interviewed him. I was hanging out with Neil Gaiman for 3 days. It was awesome.
You
And
kidding
he-
me?
And,
Yeah, it was-
hey, you two nerds, educate us. Who's that? What's he famous for?
Sandman.
There it is.
Yeah, he is. I mean, Neil Gaiman is the guy that
Mm.
he is responsible for bringing adults into and women into the comic medium. In fact, graphic novels are a direct result of female fans wanting longer editions to read because they were coming to conventions, and it was the first time women had ever been to conventions was because of the Sandman. But they wanted something that was a little bit longer. So they started, Karen Berger, who was the editor-in-chief of Vertigo Comics at the time, started putting them together in collected trade paperbacks. And then Sandman Volume 1 was flying off the shelves. And women were starting to get to comics. And now, like, our customer base is I'd say about half and half, men and women.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And it's something to consider, to remember, too, is that girls have always read comics. I say girls because it was catered mostly toward younger women, children, girls, in the 50s through the 70s. And in 1963, June 1963, when Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man 1 came out, half the titles on the market were for girls. It was nurse books, it was models, it was
Betty and
doctors.
Veronica kind of stuff.
Romance stuff, yeah. So half the market has always been dedicated to girls, and it really got more subjectively toward boys for a long period of time until Sandman showed up. So so whenever they come into town, we have some really great art. I have a bunch more artists coming into town this year that I'm excited to add their art to the list there. I could mail out to 1,000 people and ask them to draw an arch, but they have to come here, and so
Yeah.
you know that it's important because they've been here, they've drawn that sketch in the store, and it's now on our wall.
And now it's a call to arms. Anyone listening to this, like big artists out there,
Yeah.
like get into the shop in St. Louis, come draw your arch.
We have a Sunday scribbling class every Sunday, and we have artists come in and teach people how to do a thing, like draw a whatever. Like we had someone draw a brick surface. I think it was Gene Ha, and then turn into a perspective thing. But we have like artists coming in here. If you want to learn how to draw something, come in on Sunday, and we have like comic artists in here every Sunday teaching people how to draw whatever.
Holy shit! Just everyday people, maybe new artists, younger artists, and maybe you're an older artist just getting started, or maybe you just want to kind of see what's going on in your community. It's Artist Day on Sundays.
Yeah, a lot of times I think whatever community you're in, sometimes you feel very insular, like you're the only person that's into this thing. But then when you find a group of people that you're simpatico with, man, like it's like it changes your world. So
that's like the whole thing behind Apotheosis right there, right? You're trying to
right.
that's your groove, the niche. All right, so we're talking about great job on the highlights of the
Thank
walls.
you.
In the store itself, you want to highlight anything else in the store, and then we'll talk about what's happening at the store.
The Amazing Nick, I would like that.
Go ahead. Tell us what's the Amazing Nick. I've been watching Nick make sales.
Yeah.
Highlight something in the
Do you
store.
have any,
Nick.
do you have any roadkill here by chance?
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say, you got a new mascot? I heard.
I heard
Possibly.
something.
We have some really
I was just
great.
curious.
We have some really great customer experiences here at this shop because we're on South Grand and something wild happens. I think almost
They don't always buy something.
correct. Yeah.
I assumed not by some of the stories I've heard.
Yeah,
It seems like they're
yeah.
more wandering in to share something big. What happened with this one?
Well, so today I was in the store, and when I got in my car, I noticed this guy was walking down the street with his doll under his arm, and I was like, "Oh, it looks like a really weird possum doll." And I was like, "Whatever." Open the store up, and I'm in here and minding my own business, and this guy walks in. The same dude who had the possum doll walks in, and he's I go, "Hey man, where'd you get that possum doll?" And he's like, "It's not a doll. I found it." And I'm like, "What?"
No.
Yeah, I'm like, "Hey man, you can't bring that possum
No.
in here." And he's like, "What?"
Found it.
Like I'm the dick. for being
Flabbergasted,
Like, "Dude, you cannot
like,
bring a
what?"
dead animal in my store, please. So then, an hour or two passed. I have a customer in. Paul was here, and I was talking to Paul in the front of the store, and I smell the cigarette smoke, and I'm like, "Where the hell is that coming from?" I look on my front door, where human beings walk into the door and into the store, and the dude is sitting on my front porch, smoking a cigarette with his dead possum, and just not a care in the world. And I'm like, "Dude, you and your possum cannot sit here. Where am I supposed to go?" anywhere, go back in a tree with a possum. I don't know, but
Take the possum 10
the
feet
possum.
away at least.
anywhere else, yeah. No, but we always have. It's one of the best things about having a store is you really do get a collection of really great people.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's a good way to wrap that in a bow. Somebody dragging a possum in your store.
Dude, it was a big
That was very
possum, too.
PR
It
of
was
you.
a humongous-
This really sounds like the new superhero for St. Louis.
Possum man?
Oh yeah.
The possum.
The possum.
His superpower is to fix potholes.
Yeah, hey,
possums.
aren't we all? We all hope that.
Our
Yeah.
city needs.
Yeah,
That-
not
hey,
the one we deserve.
Maybe that's going to be the inspiration for your new superhero coming out of these artists. The pothole fixer, finally.
I'm sure that's gonna be someone's gonna do that. Yeah.
Or one
The filler.
to be able to give tickets to people that have expired license plates. That'd be a nice.
There were-
Oh, temp tags
they-
from 2019.
Yes.
Hey, there's more to our city than these things.
yeah.
All right. So tell us what's else is going on at the shop. You got the artist day on Sundays. You got all sorts of different types of events to kind of fit everybody's niche and what you're into.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm a big fan of live comedy, and so what are comedians called? They're called comics. So we have comics in the comic book store. So every Saturday night we have a comedy show. The 200th one is this Saturday, the 24th, and then which I don't know if this is going to air.
No, that's good. Yeah. It'll make it.
Well, but then again, we have every Wednesday's new comic book day. We have free combo day coming up on May 4th. We got a bunch of great artists coming in. We have our book clubs every third Thursday of the month. And that's a great time because you always zoom in like an artist and get to meet them. And that's a lot of fun. And open mic night.
Wednesday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
First Wednesday of the month.
First
Nice.
Wednesday of the month,
And then, go ahead.
Writers Workshop on Monday.
Yes. and
Writer's
then
Workshop.
We have a new. We've been blasting through these kegs. I think like every week. So every week we'll highlight a new beer.
That's awesome. And you're working with local breweries on pulling in some beers?
We are. Yeah, this one is. This is not local, but it's Kansas City. It's Mother's. We have a coffee stout.
Oh, Mother's.
Pretty
Yeah.
good. Yeah, pretty delicious.
You also take the show on the road sometimes. You saw Billy D. Williams, I think, this week.
Yeah, we
He
did
was
an event
in
last
St.
night.
Louis.
It
Yesterday.
was. Yeah.
How was that? Let's catch us up. He came in and did a
So
speaking event on a book that he
Yeah,
wrote.
he has a
right?
book called. He has a book that came out. I have a copy over there, but he has a
Yeah.
book that he did, and so he's. I mean, dude's 87 years old. He is still sounds awesome. He is cool as hell. But the best thing about Billy D. Williams, or actually, so one of those artists over there is Spencer Wilding. He played Darth Vader in Rogue One, and he was here. The best thing about having Star Wars people in town is the 501st Legion will show up and they will support their guys. They will come out like there's a Chewbacca. They have two Chewbaccas come out. They have the R2-D2s. The guys in costume. Like they want people to know that they are welcome and they're loved here. So
Wow.
the 501st Legion comes out and they'll do. I mean, I think I don't know if you were here for that. When Spencer Wilder, you were, yeah, there was like maybe like 10, 12 of these guys. Just
I mean, the Chewbacca costume was on stilts.
Yeah,
He
like
was-
the-
he was like
these
10
guys
feet
are like
tall.
movie
Wow.
accurate costumes.
Wow.
Dude, and if you ever want to see something cool or you want to get a new hobby,
Yeah.
R2D2 building is like this. They have like functioning R2 bots. R2 droids? Droids.
Droids.
Oh, man. Ooh, edit that out. Don't let me sound stupid.
Oh man.
Boo this man!
Yeah, what is this, like unwanted web traffic?
But yeah, an R2 Builders Club, like there's like guys who fabricate R2 units, and it's great.
There you go, Andy. You've been building these Legos.
Yeah,
You'll be
this
fine.
is what
Piece
you've
of
been waiting
cake.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah, piece of cake.
I
I
had
don't
a-
even change my oil,
I had
but
a guy
I can
who-
surely build the R2D2.
You can do it.
Sure, yeah. One of the guys was like, so what's great about this droid is that this one can handle over 52 parsecs data worth of astro navigation. And I was like,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. How do
that's a
you
lot.
measure it?
Make beeps?
He's like,
Beeps and
in other words, it's 10 gigabytes.
yeah.
All right. So I think we had some questions for Martin. Andy, you want to
Oh, yeah,
kick
for
us off?
sure.
You got it in the back pocket?
I got it in my brain.
All right. Let's do
Hopefully
it.
I get this right.
You
but-
got it.
So every time I'm here, I feel like I'm just wandering around aimlessly.
Yeah, I'm noticed.
Help a brother help a brother out, because I know there's probably so many people that are like me that came into this world from basically because of the MCU, more or less. I mean, I
Yeah.
was a huge Batman fan prior to that, but that really like lit the fire under me for sure.
Yeah.
So I just kind of want to hear maybe some comic book runs that you've seen on the big screen that you love, and kind of like the opposite, something that you've want to see on the big screen that has only been in written form for now.
Oh man, I think that a movie that should be, it was Kraven's Last Hunt from Spider-Man. That was a phenomenal storyline. I would love to see.
You might get that.
Yeah, no, yeah, hopefully. There were some things that were in Infinity War. Infinity War is based loosely on Infinity Gauntlet. I would love to see a more accurate Infinity Gauntlet.
What was missing from Infinity War that's in Infinity Gauntlet?
Well, Infinity Gauntlet was, so first of all, it's, Thanos is doing it because he is in love with death and he's trying to get her attention. So he kills half the universe.
Oh, I've seen the Silver Surfer cartoon from 1998.
Yes, right,
I knew that answer to that.
Well, then also, but like give Adam Warlock and Silver Surfer, and it doesn't so
cosmic.
It's way cosmic.
I love it. That's my
have
favorite.
All the cosmic beings come down to mess up Thanos. It's awesome.
Hell yeah.
It's really fun. But then also, I think James Gunn's going to do it. But Superman for All Seasons is a really awesome story about Superman's early days and kind of really gets the emotional core of who he is.
You think Legacy will do anything for us?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really do. But then kind of like off the wall. I mean, the Midnight Suns would be awesome to see, like a good Ghost Rider, Morbius, like have those guys done right. I think it'd be really cool.
A little different. I think live action Static Shock.
Static Shock.
For sure. Holy shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, for sure.
I like
Oh man,
that.
I had actually, I'd like to see a Bloodstone Hunt Captain America series, because that's like back in the 80s they did an Indiana Jones kind of like Captain America storyline where he was like he was in the jungle, and it's a great run. It's just fun.
Is the Bloodstone
The same one?
This is the same one from Werewolf by Night?
Yes. Yeah.
See, I mean, they are doing it. I'm in.
You get it.
Like you say things, and I'm like, I watch these things.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I would really like to see, one of my favorite Wolverine stories was Enemy of the State.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, where Wolverine he gets brainwashed again, and he's just going after the heroes, man.
Like Winter Soldier style?
Oh, going after them.
Well, yeah,
Great.
he gets brainwashed by the Hand.
By the hand.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
that's who it was.
The first one is he's like trying to
some
steal
Daredevil
these,
in
like,
there?
weapons from the heroes. But then after he gets his brain unwashed, he then goes on a killing spree on all the Hand.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys ready for Daredevil Born Again? You guys pumped for that show? I mean, were you into the Daredevil series on Netflix?
So much.
I mean,
Nope. You haven't owned a TV in years, you said, right, Nick?
My thing with the Marvel TV shows was like, we don't need 9 episodes to see them finally put the uniform on. Like, give us the thing at the beginning and get to it. And
Yeah,
that's
we're
what
done with origin stories at this point.
Yeah, which is what I think She-Hulk got so right, was that kicked it off. She was they did the first episode was awesome. They kept adding more heroes.
They basically pulled out She-Hulk. I didn't read these comics, but I'm inferring. They basically pulled out like when She-Hulk in her comics was in her prime, and they made that the show.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it seems like what it felt like to me. Scotty was all about it.
Oh, I loved it. I love She-Hulk. She's one of my favorites.
Same. I guess I was gonna say doing her storyline, but also like Squirrel Girl would be fun as hell to watch.
Oh, they tried.
They tried. Yeah.
They
had to kill it,
tried.
Yeah.
All right, Scotty, any other questions for Apotheosis, Martin, Nick? You got anything else? Other than that, we're going to move into, we'll get into coming up and wrap this thing up, man.
Do you read it all? Do you read it all? Like, it comes in, like, how much of your time do you spend reading what comes into the shop?
Okay, so here's the deal.
Here we go.
This is a great question.
That's a fantastic question. The thing about being a comic store owner is that you first get into the business because you're a fan and you want to like share that love. Eventually, it becomes a chore, and you can't. And I spent a long time last year when I was like visiting other shop owners, trying to like figure out if I wanted to keep doing this or not. And I decided to keep doing it. And,
You're welcome, Nick. You're safe.
Yeah, you're good. You're Nick. You're good. But I heard the same story from everybody, all the comic shop owners, which was that they don't read the comics anymore. They haven't read comics in years. They're kind of burned out of it. And I didn't want that to become me. So I dedicate, I get my stack of comics that I read on Wednesday night. So when I go home tonight, and I make time to read those comics because I do not want to not fall out of love with this industry. So yes, I do. Do I read everything? Hell no.
Oh yeah,
But you're at least seeing the cover. Maybe you're skimming.
Well, what we do is that I do tell these guys is that, go through the store, find a book to sell every day. You don't have to read everything. Read the description so you know how to sell it. You know what the main talking points are, and you can keep up to date with what's going on. And there's also a lot of like really great videos and podcasts that kind of like summarize stories for you. But I make sure to read the stuff that I want to love, and so I can still convey that spirit. Which is why, I mean, when you first started, there was maybe 2 Superman subscribers, and now we have, I think, maybe over 10 or 12. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think about how we're in the new age of all this stuff, and it's just like bigger than ever. I'm glad you stayed in it.
Mm-hmm.
We're transcending kind of that fan base. Who's coming in the shop most of the time? It's going to be your diehards like Scott. You got your newbies like Andy that are like dipping their toe. Then you got me who would be wandering around just like Andy said. Where I'm like, I don't even know where to start. So
Well,
who do you guys see?
So actually, what I would say to that is that we get a lot of those guys that come in here who don't know where to start, and we always tell people, find the thing that looks the most interesting and start there. Like, it doesn't have to be volume 1, doesn't be volume 2. The
Just
first
dive in.
comic book I ever read was Infinite Crisis Crisis on Infinite Earths #4, which was like the worst place to dive into, the beginning of this long epic. And I didn't finish reading Crisis on Infinite Earths for about 10 years because I'm a slow reader. No, because I couldn't find the books. Because like you have to go to a comic book store and have to find them. And it was before eBay because I'm old. And you had to go to the stores and find them. And I would piece together the story. And but I think what happened was around like Harry Potter and Hunger Games and what's the vampire one? The Twilight. A whole new age of reader came in that had to read things sequentially, and they had like this. The books came in, you had to read them in order, and you had to start at volume 1. One of the biggest problems we have is that we have a lot of volume 2s, 3s, and 4s on there that have nothing to do with volume 1s, and selling them is really hard to do. But we just tell people, because like comic books are designed, at least the older ones were, to like grab your attention on the rack. So it had to be dynamic, it had to be interesting. You had to like it had to grab your attention among all the stuff. So it's like our store. Like, look at this wall here. The thing that would grab your attention is what you're going to buy.
Yeah, gravitate towards it.
Right. And every comic book back before they're now marketed more to become trade paperbacks to collect them. So they do less of like summarization and have complete stories. A comic book back in the 70s and 80s and mid 90s, you had to have, if it was part 5 of a 7-part story, each comic had to have a summary, a beginning, middle, and end story, and had to wrap up that story and then continue on the next one because, again, it was designed to get you to buy the next one. But also, you may never read another comic book in your life again.
Can't just be a straight up cliffhanger.
Right. So that's why you had so many like all these characters are being created because they had to fill something up.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Craven's going to come and going to hit Spider-Man and he's going to find the next issue, but we need like a skateboarding guy to come in and fight him for this issue. And then that's where you get the other
Man,
stuff.
I can tell you as like a present day watcher of the MCU, and I also flash back to whenever I was reading books in elementary school for the book fair, getting the points. And the 4th Harry Potter book, the 4th one, Goblet of Fire, I think, caught my eye, and that is what I was like. I didn't care that it was number 4. It was the one they had, and I read Goblet of Fire first, and I read every book after that.
Yeah.
All right, so you can drop in if you're interested. MCU too. Man, I come back to that chronological timeline order all the time. It's probably where I spend most of my time on my TV is on that MCU chronological timeline order. I think it's so awesome. I just kind of like go back and forth. And I used to be.
What is this?
On Disney Plus, they're doing a really good job of showing you the chronological order of all their titles.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So Marvel, Star Wars, they have a Star Wars timeline. Like they really show you like what comes first and what comes last. And I would be obsessed with that MCU timeline. I'd be like, you know what? I just want to keep the timeline going.
Yeah.
It's not the case anymore. Now I'm like finding like, I just want to pop into this Captain America story. I just want to pop into this Daredevil. Me and Carrie are watching Daredevil now.
It's really the beauty of back issues is you can go in and you can buy like because you mark the books down $2, you can go in and buy a really kick-ass older book. And again, because back then they were designed to be longer format, so you spend more time on those older issues and do newer issues because they're like these new ones they got to get a 6-issue run in order to put it. And also the artwork takes a lot more time. They're more detailed now, so they're more wider pages, bigger spreads, just so you can kind of cheat it out and it doesn't take you a whole month to write one book.
Well, I think we are approaching the end. So Martin, do us this: we got local people. Get them into the store. We got to get them into the store, and then where can they find you? Online for our people local and around town. Where do they find you?
Just look up Apotheosis Comics on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok, OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We've talked about doing like
There is a stage
under the table,
right.
under the table stuff for our podcast or something. All right, and then what are your hours?
Oh God, we're open Monday through Sunday, and then like till about 8:00 and then on Friday and Saturday till 10.
Hell yeah! So come read your comics. You got tables here. You got booths. You got the bar.
Coffee. We got
coffee,
this,
popcorn,
video games.
drinks.
Yeah,
Get video games. You got the
can
controllers
bring
hooked
outside
up.
food in.
Oh, nice! Bring your own food. Very nice. Well, thank you so much for having Mostly Superheroes in your place tonight.
It was great to have you guys. I love talking to this. I love having fans in the store. Come anytime.
During the break, we were just talking about how amazing this setup feels, and we'd love to come back and set it up over and over and make it more of a regular thing. And maybe we can steal one of your days eventually, and we'll get some of our people in here. And we're trying. I think we make up a lot of your fan base, so
yeah,
we'll try to help you out.
We'll do shots next time.
You help us out too.
Yeah. Anything I can do, let me know.
Some crossover contests. I got a leave behind for you with like a QR code. We could do a little bit of that type of thing.
I love it.
Let's make some. Let's have a crossover.
I love it. Multiverse.
Scotty Scoop, any sign-offs?
Oh man, I'm just gonna try and make it out of here without spending too much money.
I was watching you the whole time when Martin was talking, and all I was thinking to myself was, nobody's having a better time than Scotty. I think right now.
I'm like, I gotta have that. Oh, one of these things over here.
Dude, I honestly, when I started the shop, I was like, well, the good thing is I'm not gonna have to buy all these comics because I owned them.
That's what
I was like, no, I need to take them home and give them a good home.
A real home at home.
I need my trophies.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Giggler, how about you, buddy?
Man, I love this place. I'll be back next week, actually. I got to pick up Moon Man 2 on Wednesday. So
Kid Cudi.
So I'll be there for that. But yeah, it's just awesome to see Martin doing his thing in here. Like the last few times I've been here, just watching him kind of help other customers. I've seen how knowledgeable he is. And today definitely went through the roof on that. So
I know.
learned everything I possibly could. So thank you for that, sir.
I know you've been on the podcast twice now, so these have been kind of like the get to know yous. Now this is where we start to have a lot of fun because we can get into some nerdy stuff. Like pick a theme, pick a series, pick something that's hot right now. Let's just talk about that. Come in for an hour. You were talking about G.I. Joes during the break. Like we love to get deep into the storylines.
I'm here for you.
All right, guys, plenty coming up on the podcast. A lot more local shows for sure. Sam the DM, the Dungeon Master, Dungeons and Dragons fans, get ready. We're going to talk to him again. We're going to be seeing Stephen F. Smith over at the Royale Food and Spirits in a couple weeks. Yeah, we're recording there. You know I'm getting that cranberry margarita. You know I'm going to do it. We also are going to have Steve Ewing from across the street at Steve's Hot Dogs coming back on the pod, doing some Star Wars collaborations, and going to be talking music. You know, he's doing all sorts of stuff with The Urge, Master Blaster, and Steve Ewing Band. We can't wait. And then on the horizon, you nerds, X-Men 97, Deadpool and Wolverine, Planet of the Apes,
Looks good to me.
Kingdom of Planet of the Apes. I mean, me and Scotty have been doing the rewatch.
Yeah.
Watched them all. I think we got to do an episode to get ready.
Yeah, we might have to do that.
We'll figure it out. And then we got Scotty's comic book corner that we got to get going too.
It's coming, folks.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to probably be a little, you guys might be able to trade some notes on that. And Andy just got the newsletter going again.
Let's go, baby.
Super pumped about that. So every 2 weeks, every month, watch for the newsletter. We're super pumped to get that out. So plenty happening at mostlysuperheroes.com, our online home. You can subscribe to our podcast, check us out there, watch us, listen, and check out Apotheosis Comics and Lounge. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Take it easy. Mostly Superheroes is proud to be funded in part by our sponsors. This episode was brought to you in part by Team Jakey, Tiny Superheroes, Apotheosis Comics and Lounge, Alamo Drafthouse Cinema. Mostly Superheroes is funded in part by paying patrons who receive early, ad-free, and exclusive episodes. Subscribe at mostlysuperheroes.com/support. Thank you for supporting your favorite independent podcast. Mostly Superheroes is an independent podcast owned and operated by Kerrigan Ventures in St. Louis, Missouri. Hosted by Logan Janis, Andy Hunn, and Scott Swearingen. Brand and creative by Carrie Clark Design. Music by Audionautics. Learn more at audionautics.com. Find more at mostlysuperheroes.com.